Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Two Ways to Skin a Cat. Um, this episode is basically we mixing up the branding a little bit, but the show is where we talk about career experiences, entrepreneurship, and investments. The main aim is basically to show you that there's more than one way to be successful, and not just climbing the corporate ladder. A reminder that the show will be available on YouTube and podcast. So if you want to listen to it a little bit differently, please feel free. I've got a special guest for us today. So today I'd like to introduce you to Nestene Botha, a chartered accountant and a jack of all trades. Is it a Jane of all trades? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we say that, but she's the founder of Explore Protech, a company focusing on training, networking, marketing, digital service, compliance, and accounting. That's a long list, eh? Also, a lecturer at UCT, involved in organizing events. Is there anything that you don't do?
I'm not too much of a people's person. So I guess maybe like the personal life, I don't do that well. But everything else, business-wise, that's my game. That's the arena that I play in.
Okay, no, that's great. And just for the audience out there, if you are listening on the live, please drop a one in the comments. And if you're listening on the recording afterwards, please drop a two, just so that we know that there are people listening and we're not talking to ourselves. So, Nestene, just for the audience's purposes, give us a little bit of a backstory, like a comic book version one, who you are as a person, where you come from, etc., etc.
Okay, cool. So I'll keep it short and sweet, otherwise we'll be here all day. But let me start with about 5 years ago. So about 5 years ago, I was happily working at University of Cape Town. I was a lecturer in auditing, and I absolutely adored my job. I was very much about climbing the corporate ladder, not the corporate, well, the lecturer ladder, like going for that associate professor, then professor, and I was just working towards that. I didn't really imagine anything outside of that. But there was two ways to skin a cat. So fees must fall basically happened, and it got very unsafe to work at the university. During that process, I kind of got myself into a situation because I was on a contract. I was forced to resign. And I was devastated. I did not know if I was up or down or what was going on or what was going to happen. I didn't feel like getting another job. This was supposed to be it. This was it. And now this it career was kind of not viable for me anymore. So being who I am, literally, the one day I got home and I was like, okay, well, I resigned today. And I told my then husband that. And then the next day I was literally, you know what we can do? We should found the first virtual audit firm in South Africa. I think it's time for that right now. And from there started my journey on the entrepreneurial path. I've been an entrepreneur ever since. So the first virtual audit firm in South Africa is what got me out there. It's what got me ticking the Audit Pro. And then after the Audit Pro, basically when COVID hit, I realized that now is the time that we need to really look after our entrepreneurs. So if ISA wanted to have a customer basis going forward, we're going to have to help these entrepreneurs to make the strategic moves, to give them all the support that they need in order to survive this, and not only survive, but thrive in a post-corona economy. And yeah, that's where I pulled in teamwork expert and collaboration expert, Peter Hingston. He's from a completely separate field than me. So he basically we were on the same page with we need to support entrepreneurs, but in terms of how he thinks and what he values and the relationship stuff, he brought all of that to the team. So we then started the training side of it and the networking side together. He then pulled in Andrew Wrench, his contact from the UK, who is very much a serial entrepreneur and engaged in digital services. So then Andrew came on board and he added his digital services to the package, and he was like, okay, so I can teach you how to be visible online and SEO and things like that. That's what I'm good at. And yeah, now we have Explore Protech. It's an entrepreneurial haven. What we do is we support entrepreneurs across the globe in making the strategic moves and giving them the support that they need, giving them the networking opportunities, and kind of creating a business family around them
Okay.
so that they
Okay.
can
No,
be
that's great.
successful.
No? I like the fact in your story that you mentioned, like, everybody when they're young, they believe I need to have this perfect career where things never go wrong. And it's not like that. Like you say, sometimes things happen. Sometimes the job is not for you. Sometimes people get retrenched, and it's got nothing to do with how your abilities, things that are outside of your control. The whole point is, what do you do with that situation? And I really like that story, because that shows people, just because you take a knock doesn't mean that's the end of your career, or you'll never succeed in life. Because of that, you started all of this. So that was probably the spark.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, and I've seen that there's so many amazing entrepreneurial stories that I've seen come from, for example, something like COVID, like this. So other people that have done the same. I mean, we have a virtual assistant on board. When she met us, she was like basically just starting up, like trying to get her name out there. She lives in, I think, Bella, like very, very tiny town in South Africa, like very small. And she wanted to be a global virtual assistant. And she met us, and we spoke to her 2 hours ago, and she is now turning her virtual assistant business into an academy where she
Oh
shows
wow.
other
Okay.
virtual assistants how to be
Okay.
successful because she's just done it, and that is what makes
Okay.
my heart
Okay.
happy, like seeing stories like that.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna push you a little bit. You gave me the professional who you are, but who's the personal? Who is Nestene? What does she like to do? Is she where is she from? Is she a sporty person? Is she a arty person? Tell me a little bit about her.
So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm joking. No, I'm a very much a creative person. I'm a fun-loving person. So I think that also comes through into the business that I do. So I don't believe in keeping personal and business really that separate. I believe in being who I am all of the time. So I'm super creative. I draw, I write, I design, and that's what you'll see me do in business as well. Yeah. I don't
So
take
you live
myself
in your truth,
seriously.
basically. That's what it
I'm
sounds
living
like to
my,
me.
yeah, no, definitely. I'm living my truth and I'm being myself and I'm having a ball doing it.
Something that I noticed for interest sake is that you kind of like me. You have a name that's not well known, and sometimes people take a while to get it, but when they get it, they don't forget it. Because I spent a few years in Stellenbosch, and that was the first time I heard your name. So I was like, I've got a kindred spirit. I need to speak to her at some stage.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, no, I've actually I've searched, like scoured Google basically for another Nestene in this world. There's no one else. There's one thing that I found from Doctor Who. Doctor Who, the series, there's a robot that kills basically like a whole civilization. It's called a Nestene. Not joking, but that is the only other
It's a
Nestene
bit scary. Okay.
out
Okay.
there.
So either you've got a lot of businesses, or you've got a lot of different divisions in one business. But how do you keep all those balls juggling at the same time?
Collaboration is key. Collaboration is everything right now. So for example, I'll give you an example. We founded this entrepreneurial haven this year. I mean, it's a 7 month old baby business now. We have a flagship fempreneur course running. We have a successful global online speed networking platform. It's incredible what we've been able to accomplish, but it's because of the collaboration. Our Fempreneur course was basically put together, launched, and introduced, and we got our first cohort on in the first 6 weeks of COVID. That's because we have 12 experts from across the globe working together on creating that course content, putting it together, and marketing it. So that's the secret all the way. And I,
That's
I didn't
amazing.
I didn't like realize this. Like I always, was pro collaboration, but I never realized the power of it actually until COVID, when Peter came on board and he was like, just stop doing everything yourself. You'll only get so far. Let me actually put other experts in touch with you and let's really make a difference.
You can grow a small business on your own, but after that, you need a team to grow. Definitely,
Exactly.
definitely. And tell me, so um, knowing what you know now, what do you wish you knew when you started the business?
Oh my goodness. Do you have a list? Like how long do you
Okay,
have?
let's go top five, and then what we can do is that maybe if anyone has any questions, they can put it in the chat, and we'll look at it towards the end. But let's go top five. Your top five.
Top five. Okay, when I started the business, nothing that's worthwhile happens easily, but don't give up ever. So I had an idea that that was how it works, but there were some really tough times. You know, the entrepreneurial can be really, really tough, as you know. Um, So, but as long as you marry the process, let go of the results, you'll be fine. You know, as long as you never give up, you never fail. Even if you fail, fail forward. So I learned those lessons along the way. That's like, I think, my top one or three that I think. And then also, definitely marketing. Oh my goodness. Marketing is a whole different story. But I also think it's because, I studied chartered accounting. And the one thing they never
Nobody
taught.
teaches us to marketing. The sales,
Marketing.
they fall out of the sky. We just do the work.
Exactly. Exactly. Until you get to that point and you're like, okay, well, I just founded this firm now. I should probably get some clients. Where would I find those?
Can I call the client shop, please? Can you please?
Yeah, exactly. So if someone would have just told me, just be yourself, have a face forward approach to business, the clients will come. That would have saved me so much heartache because literally I figured out along the way. Like in the beginning, it was so difficult. I would be like trying to tell people, I do accounting and do you need an accountant? And they would just walk the other way. Who wants to talk to an accountant at a networking event? Like seriously, unless you're forced to.
And then it's not the people you actually want to talk to, because
Exactly.
they've got
But
problems.
yeah, exactly. So, but I found out along the way, if you're just yourself, people naturally like gravitate towards you and resonate with that. And then eventually in the conversation, it comes up like, what do you do, by the way? And you're like, oh, yeah, I do accounting. Then the conversation is so different because then they're like, oh, you know what? Like, I hate tax. Can you please help me? And I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. That's yeah, I think that's the top two, five. Don't know how you if you want me
I,
to continue.
no, I think that's very important. Like networking is a key skill. And I notice, especially accountants and CAs, we don't like to network. It was only when I started working in asset management where I realized, oh, okay, the only way you're going to get clients is if you network. So you need to learn how to, even if you're not natural, you can always, even if you make a fool of yourself, it's fine. They're not going to remember. So you have to learn to do it. Have to.
Yeah. And I mean that's what kind of attracted me to you ways, because you're in accounting and you're an accountant and everything, but you're so you're so just you, and I love that, and I think that's what attracts a lot of people to you because they can see who you are and they naturally resonate with that.
No, thank you very much. I want to move a little bit. You part of an international SME networking group. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh my goodness, that is like my favorite thing at the moment. I get so excited. So yeah, we created the global online speed networking platform to give our SMEs from across the globe a chance to form those relationships that they need to form in order to be able to move forward together in business. So because we saw the power of collaboration ourselves, we wanted to give that to the entrepreneurs as one of the support services that we provide. Once we had that in place, we recognized that what people need right now more than that even is a tribe. So like after you spark a relationship at the networking event, you want to go somewhere that's almost like a coffee shop where you can sit down and you can chat to the people every now and again, and just stay up to date with everyone instead of having to develop now like 1000 or however many relationships one by one. You can just be a part of the tribe. So that is what we have now. So we have a tribe. It's invite only. So we only pick amazing, incredible, successful, like face forward, authentic people to be in our network. And they're from across the globe. And they hang out with us on the original coffee shop. So the original coffee shop is a WhatsApp group that Peter Hinkson created for us. For when we were developing the Fempreneur course. That's where our 12 experts from across the globe kind of would hang out, banter, get to know each other, work together. So that's where the tribe hangs out now. And I just adore it. Hey, like every morning I wake up to like 50 different messages and people are like, oh, I'm doing this and what did you do? Oh, and you're doing, and that's where, like, for example, today I got the video from because Suman, our digital monetization expert tribe member from India, sent that onto the WhatsApp group. And Jeff Bonanno from the US that we met at the previous networking event was actually the voiceover artist for the global online speed networking video, and that's where I found it. I like, that's so cool. Like people are just doing so many projects together. It's amazing. I love it.
Okay, no, great. Just a reminder to the audience, if you've got any questions for Nestene, please put them in the chat. Or we're coming towards towards the end of the session, and I'd like to get your questions out. I don't want to miss them. So, just if you were sitting in the audience now, what advice would you have for a young professional who's maybe started climbing the corporate ladder, similar to you, and they're thinking about switching from full-time employment, but they're not sure? You've done it. What can you tell them to help them? And that might not necessarily be that entrepreneurship is the thing for them. It may or may not be. What can they look out for, or what can help them make that decision, at least going or not going?
First of all, I would say if you are, you have to be tough to be an entrepreneur, but you have to think of what do you want from life. If it's money, you can do that. Go corporate. Like that's my advice. If you want money or you want quick money, even if you want stable money right now, rather just go corporate. If what you want is flexibility, to be answerable to yourself, to live your own values and to create your own future, then entrepreneurship, and you're willing to, take the punches and take the hits in order to get that. That's how badly you want that. Then entrepreneurship is for you. So that will
Okay.
be my
Okay.
advice. Yeah.
And some businesses take off, some take a while. Do you have any advice there in terms of how long do you stay the course, or is there any nuggets that you can provide help us with?
I would like definitely say, and this is really not me marketing myself or my company, but if you're going to be in the startup phase or even if you're in the growth phase, get in touch with me. Get in touch with us at Explore Protech, because literally, I'm telling you, UAs, I have like almost bankrupted my companies, like a couple of them in this process. It's been tough. There's so many things that you don't know. And by having a tribe around you that can support you in that, people that have walked the journey, it's priceless. That's what you need.
I think we're going to move over to see if there's any. It doesn't look like this. I'm going through the chat and it doesn't look like there's any questions. So I'm going to ask a question.
Go for it. Nothing personal.
No, I won't. Don't worry. We've covered that. So, what do you think is something that's important to you or topical that you think should be talked about but's not being talked about currently, or that you want to talk a little bit more about? Passion project, anything like that?
There's a ton of them. As you can see, I'm a talkative
Give me
person.
your main one. Give me your main one.
Main one, people should be talking more about global opportunity right now. It's never been easier to go global. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a salesperson, if you're even just sitting on a board, if you're the person making the decisions about going global, you need to recognize that the opportunity to do that is now. It's easier than you think. And even if you give me the excuse that you've always been a brick and mortar store or there's no way that you can do it global, I guarantee you can come to me. I'll take a look at your business model and we will figure out a way for you to take advantage of the global opportunities that are out there right now.
That's so true. You're working remotely, whether you're working from here or your offices are 2 streets away, you're still meeting over video. So it's the same distance, no matter where you're sitting in the world. So I
It's
fully
never
agree with that.
been easier. Yeah. I mean, we have accountants in the tribe that have like changed their models completely, like from being completely locally focused, like just around them. And now it's so normal to have those conversations with people from across the globe. And they just like embrace that and they're going for it. And it's beautiful.
Okay, great. And before I ask you for your last thoughts, where can people reach you?
So I have a global online speed networking video, the one that I spoke about that Suman from India and Jeff from the US made for us. I'm gonna pop that link into the comments. On there is all of our links. So if
Okay.
you want to find out more about us, if you want to contact me, my personal LinkedIn link is also on there. So that would be the best way.
Perfect. I think you've actually answered my next question as well. So we've covered everything. Thank you so much for
Super.
your time, Nestene. I hope the audience has enjoyed it. And just a reminder that the live will be available on LinkedIn. The recording will be available on YouTube and podcast, Spotify, Google, and a few others by tomorrow morning. So we've also got a few other interviews lined up and a few discussions for next week and the following week. So I'm excited for that. Thanks everyone for joining us, and all the best for the rest of the week. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you, you ways.